The revival of a species. Cooler is born. Greetings and beyond the new, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Alien Star. And today I thought we would take the time to talk about something very special in the Dragon Ball community. Now, with the success of Dragon Ball Super's Broly movie, with bringing in Broly into the Dragon Ball Super canon, I thought that it would be really fun to talk about what's next for Dragon Ball Super. Now, obviously, as some of you may know, the manga has decided to continue on past the Tournament of Power and past the Broly movie. However, I do not think the anime will take the same route because I've heard leaks that there may already be another movie in production. What that movie will be, one can only speculate. However, I theorize that it is going to be a Dragon Ball Super Cooler movie. That's right. I think that Cooler, the brother of Frieza, the second son to King Cold, is going to be in the canon of Dragon Ball Super. Why do I think that? Well, allow me to educate you a little bit. So, as some of you may know, Cooler has gotten a lot of recognition in the franchise as of late. We've seen him in the anime of Dragon Ball Super Heroes. We've seen a lot of him in the games, being Dragon Ball Fighter Z and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, where you can fight as him. And considering the massive success that Broly was, I think that Cooler would be next on the list. And here's why. Cooler is probably the best candidate because he can really expand the lore of Dragon Ball Super. Think about it. We know nothing of Frieza or his race. We know very little. The very little we do know is that they're space pirates. They consist of King Cold and Frieza, who King Cold isn't even alive, and we know that they have this type of power to either progress or regress in forms, thus building or locking away their power. And I think that Cooler would be an interesting individual to tell us more about his race. If we take a look at the beginnings of the Broly movie, we see the past of what happened between Frieza and the Saiyans. And there we got to see a lot of what the Saiyans were like when they were alive. We saw that they weren't necessarily the warrior race that we thought they were. They used guns, they had different jobs like chefs, hunters, all that kind of stuff. Them going off and collecting planets for Frieza was just kind of a area of the field for them. Not all of them did it, and we experienced in that film that not all Saiyans became great apes, and not all Saiyans had a high power level. They needed the aid of weapons. So, judging from that, I believe that the next movie will do the same thing, only with Frieza's race and Cooler instead of the Saiyans. However, with the lack of intel that we have about Cooler even existing, one could argue that Cooler just can't exist because we haven't heard any mention of him, and unless he has a special case like Broly, well, he's kind of out of the ring. However, I bring up this a theories of sorts. What if Cooler wasn't Frieza's brother? Now, I know that might seem odd. However, it is intriguing to think about Cooler having a sort of another title with Frieza other than brother. A lot of things I've thought about was if Cooler was perhaps Frieza's son. Yes, we already know that Frieza is out trying to form allies in order to fight back against the Saiyans, who rightfully wronged him. And him, a already prodigy of his race, having a child being a prodigy of a prodigy, well, that's leveling out the playing field a little bit in his favor. Because not only can he have someone of his race, and not only can he have someone of substantial power level, but he can be able to control that someone by being that someone's father, and raising that someone, molding that someone of how he wants them to be. That is how he can sort of. Another interesting theory I thought of is, what if Cooler came from another universe? We already know that Universe 6 has individuals of Frieza's race, being Frost. However, what we do not know is what the race of Frieza in the 6th universe pertains of. And what I mean by that is, in the 7th universe, the Frieza race is pretty much extinct. There are no other individuals of that race besides Frieza and King Cold, which, again, King Cold is dead. However, we do not know if that race is still present in the 6th universe. So it is very possible that Cooler could come from the 6th universe, a place where his race is perhaps dominant. And to go off that theory, a lot of people seem to think that Frost is Frieza's counterpart in Universe 6. However, with the introduction of Cooler, one could say that Cooler would be Frieza's counterpart to the Universe 6. Allow me to explain. As you know, Frieza has achieved Golden Form, which I would describe as an augmented form. And who was the first to make an augmented form? Well, Cooler was. So, imagine what would happen if a individual of Frieza's race from Universe 6 trained the way Frieza did and made an augmented form. Maybe it necessarily wouldn't be golden, because it is stated in the anime that Frieza chose the golden color to show superiority over the Saiyans. Perhaps Cooler chose the way his form looks so that he could be bulkier and more defensive rather than faster and key manipulative like Frieza did. It's a very interesting thing to think about, and I'm sure that we'll get an answer sooner or later if a movie does come out. Anyway, guys, I'm Alien Star. Please comment down below what you guys think would happen if Cooler entered the canon of Dragon Ball Super. Anyways,